What are the most common problems for retail bankers in 2022?
Of course, there are things connected with security, especially with cybersecurity and different attacks that also banks are subjected today. There are also some changing regulations, and it's always effort from the banks and big challenge because they need to spend some money, some time, and internal capacity, not for business, but just to align with changing regulation. However, today I would like to focus mainly on business challenges. And business challenges are connected mainly with customer expectations. So it means that elements that are required by customers. And what customers require from the bank? Mainly doing everything digital. Now the customers want to save some time and to do all the operations fully online without the need to contact with advisor or physical branch. Another thing is simplicity and making everything in a very convenient way. And of course, I think the most important trend is tailoring product and services to customer needs. According to different surveys, for example, Salesforce, more than half customers expect banks to always personalize offers for them. At the same time, every 2 in 3 customers expect the bank to have unique experience and want banks to know their particular needs. And this is challenging for banks today because in the past, when the customers meet advisors, it was easier to gather some personal information. And now, when customers are doing everything online, this relation, it's harder to keep the stronger relationship between a bank and customers. Another thing is competition, both competition between banks, but especially competition between banks and fintechs. There are still more and more fintechs on the market, and they, of course, the trust isn't so high when it comes to when we compare it to the banks. But those fintechs are doing very innovative things, and they are they're very quick, mainly because decision process is much quicker. Usually, those fintechs have modern technology. They are starting as greenfield, so they do not have legacy systems. So also, it's much easier and faster to implement any changes. And usually, those fintechs focus exactly on personalization and supporting customers in managing daily finances. As example, we can use personal finance management systems. In the past, many banks tried to implement PFM systems, but usually they were just responsible for dividing customer transaction into different groups. And customers didn't use those PFMs because they didn't bring real value. They only show what are the spendings of the customers, but all the action or analysis, what to do, was to be made by the customers. However, now there are some companies that improve those PFM systems using machine learning and artificial intelligence and show that it's easy, maybe not easy, that it's worth to do PFM more proactive and supporting customer in different operations. So not only presenting the history, but also recommend some action, adjust products to customer needs, and so on. And the researchers proved that customer satisfaction using those modern PFM was increased by even 80%. And the revenue generated by such players introducing those PFMs was higher even 2 times. So there's also strong competition not only against startups and fintechs, but also against banks. Now, as most of the banks implemented fully digital onboarding, the barrier to switch a bank is much easier. So the very, very important challenge for the banks is to increase the loyalty of the customers and to keep customers, let's say, addicted to services offered by a particular bank. Because if the customer is using some service that is saving his or her time, making easier to manage finance, it's harder to switch the main account to the bank who doesn't provide such service. And AI, we will talk a lot about AI, ML, and ML is a very good tool to support banks. However, one of the biggest challenges also is problem with adoption of AI. And this is a very complex solution. One of the problems is that the banks have a lot of data, but usually those data are in different systems. Some of their systems are legacy systems, and it's not so easy to extract those data and to build architecture, technical architecture, that is enabling different analysis, different machine learning, using different machine learning capabilities. So those systems, this is one of the biggest challenges also when it comes to banks. Another challenge in the area of AI are talents, and the talents because in AI projects, the bank needs to acquire different roles from very skilled architects, and usually banks have such architects, but also people responsible for data analysis, machine learning engineers, data scientists, and also people responsible for DevOps, and when we are talking about AI, MLOps processes. And according to some survey conducted by Deloitte, when we are looking for the talents which are the most difficult to access, to get, the biggest challenge is when it comes to artificial intelligence and machine learning engineers. On the second place is cybersecurity, but on the third place, it's again a role strictly connected with adoption of AI. Those are data scientists and data analysts. Another thing is lack of clear strategy and expectation. Many companies want AI to do the magic. However, they need to, the biggest challenge is to realize how the AI is working and how it can be aligned with banks' needs and how it can support business.